India's BrahMos missile being deployed in Arunachal Pradesh is none of China's concern. That strong message from India a day after China's official army publication said that this missile will increase competitiveness and confrontation among the two countries.
Mind your own business. That essentially is what the Indian Army thinks of a commentary in the Chinese Army's official publication, which said the deployment of indigenous BrahMos missiles along the Himalayas is bound to increase competitiveness and confrontation in Sino-Indian relations. Sources in the Indian Army have told NDTV, our threat perceptions and security concerns are our own, and how we address these by deploying assets on our territory should be no one else's concern. The BrahMos can hit targets more than 290 kilometers away. It's already been inducted into the Army and the Navy and is presently being tested by the Indian Air Force. The Army is in the process of equipping a new regiment with the latest variant of the missile at a cost of 4,300 crores. The Block 3 version of the missile being inducted along the Himalayas has advanced guidance systems which enable the missile to perform very tight maneuvers at 2.8 times the speed of sound. This allows the missile to strike hidden targets behind a mountain range with extreme precision.
The journey of BrahMos started on the 12th of February 1998 after the landmark signing of the Intergovernmental Agreement at Moscow by DRDO of India and NPOM of Russia. A deadly combination of Su-30 MKI armed with BrahMos missile will start sending shivers down the enemy spine. This amalgamation will theatrically augment IAF's capability for neutralizing seaborne, BrahMos is today the weapon of choice of our armed forces. The Indian Army, Navy and Air Force. The advent of this formidable weapon system has empowered our forces manifolds to undertake deep surgical strikes characterized by supersonic speed and remarkably high accuracy to annihilate the enemy targets anywhere, anytime. BrahMos, the world's best supersonic cruise missile with test launches from different platforms, has proven its mettle of being the game changer in the modern war dynamics. Recent launches of the missile conducted in the eastern sector has revalidated the superiority of the weapon system in land-to-land attack mode, demonstrating an unmatched performance in 2 successive successful test firings for full range in a complex maneuver. The supersonic cruise missile has once again made history. BrahMos missile is the fastest operational cruise missile existing in the world today and can be launched from any type of platform, land, sea and air, and can precisely neutralize the targets either on land or at sea with high lethal effect. The flawless launch from INS Kolkata, first ever test launch of supersonic cruise missile in salvo mode from INS Trikand, and the historical launch from underwater have proven BrahMos to be a universal weapon system. For today, this potent weapon system is in the proud possession of all the three services of the Indian Armed Forces. This feat of engineering excellence has been achieved by the incorporation of various public and private sector industries, forming the BrahMos Industry Consortium. BrahMos JV today has changed the buyer-seller relationship between India and Russia. Brand BrahMos has emerged as a total solution company in the world market for cruise missile weapon complex. To maintain the sovereignty of being the world leader, a roadmap has been outlined as Vision 2050, which focuses on arming the Indian Defence Forces with ultimate force multipliers, BrahMos Next Generation, and the reusable hypersonic BrahMos 2 missiles, which are going to be the flag bearers in network-centric battlefields of tomorrow.
India has already deployed its T-72 tanks at Chinese border in Ladakh. Few weeks back, more than 100 T-72 Indian tanks were seen, practicing and taking part in battle-related activities at Ladakh, the Indo-China border.
And now India has deployed a full regiment of BrahMos missile at Chinese border in Arunachal Pradesh. The missile can achieve speed up to 3,700 km per hour, which is equal to Mach 3. It looks like that India wants to give a clear message to China that they will never compromise on territory issues.
India flexing its military muscle, a kind of posturing?
Well, if you want to be a big player and to be at the top table nowadays, you've got to be a nuclear power. And secondly, you must have ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, which can carry nuclear warheads. If you have those two, you're really a big boy and you're listened to. Therefore, it was inevitable that India would in fact attempt to attain that status. It underlines the science and technology advance of India. India has the scientists, it has the engineers to produce this. We don't know how much cooperation there is between India and other nuclear states, for instance the US. We know that there is an increasing partnership between India and the US. But China, of course, is further ahead. And China will just have to accept that India now is rising. India has responded by saying it's going to spend a lot of money and recruit something like 100,000 soldiers to patrol that area and so on. So it is potentially a flashpoint. Now, we go back to the internal domestic politics of China, which may play a role here. The Bo Xilai scandal is ongoing. It's the greatest crisis since the Tiananmen Square massacre of June 1989. It's ongoing. One doesn't know how it's going to play out. The various factions are fighting for supremacy, and one doesn't know if one faction may in fact appeal to the military that the best thing that could happen would be an external threat. You find that in communist politics, that a communist state will then find an external threat and say, we must unify the country and so on. So all these are possibilities. The situation, the domestic situation in China and Chinese politics is very fluid at present. We don't actually know what's going on, but we know there's a conflict going on. And the military is the number one institution in China, and it could play a role.
Besides the war, battle and all these tensions, people on both sides want peace. A Chinese girl holding Indian flag in hand at border clearly indicates that people have no concern with war. Their only need is peace.